All right, I'm gonna wait for a couple more people to get here, and let's move this. Is that too close? Whoa. Uh, uh, there we go. All right. Hello, everybody, and Matt. Thank you for the host as always. Love you, buddy. Um, so what's up? What's today's date? August the 30th already. The end of August. One more day, and then we're in September. That's miserable, guys. I mean, there's a lot of fun stuff coming up, but summer's over, man. Summer's freaking over. That sucks. So, although there is some cool stuff happening on the horizon, as I'm sure many of you have figured out, at least for me. Not much is actually going to change here in the future, but we'll talk about that in a bit. Wait and see who comes along and says hi. So, first things first, I apologize that I haven't been streaming that much. As you might have known, I've been on vacation in Cape May, which is down in New Jersey, just about the southern tip of New Jersey, with some real life friends that I've known since elementary school or grade school, whatever you call it, wherever you're from, you know. So I've known them forever, and it was a much needed vacation. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of work that I've been putting in. But not so much, it's not been too stressful for me, as it has been for other people in the scene. It's more just been I needed to spend time, I think, with a lot of the people that I've been growing up with, or I grew up with, and it was really just great to see them again. So we'll talk about the vacation also, but I think the big thing is everyone wants to really talk about moonduck and what we're going to do with that. So I know actually Andrew Ziori had a great podcast earlier where he discussed the pretty much all of the logistics of moonduck, talked about how exciting it was, how it came together, how it came to fruition, and why it came to fruition. So I think that, I don't really need to touch on that too much. Obviously, if people have questions, I'll do my best to answer them. And just know that I can't answer all of the questions. There are some things we really can't talk about, but I will be looking at chat, and I will be talking and answering questions and discussing things. So let's see here. I guess we should start with moonduck and go from there, because I think that's what everyone wants to talk about. Or you guys could just wait and have to deal with my ramblings about vacation. So left on Thursday afternoon, Thursday morning rather. Drove about 4.5 hours. I was very tired. Sleep schedule was all sorts of screwed up, and got to my friend's place. His parents have this place down in Cape May, beautiful, right near the beach. Literally a half-minute walk to the beach from his house, and it was gorgeous all week. Got to go to the beach and hang out. And as you guys know, I'm a swimmer, so I love the beach. I used to hate it just because, sand and it's hot, and I'm a gamer, so I can only take so much sun. But really, I've always been a swimmer, so the beach is beautiful, and I love hanging out there. And it was a great time, just me and the guys chilling. So that was something that was really, really cool. Just going to the beach and just chilling with my friends. Body surfed a lot. I don't know how to actually surf. That's one thing I would like to do, is to be able to learn to surf. But ever since I was young, I've always enjoyed going onto the beach and then just body surfing. Just whenever a wave comes, just hitting that wave and just riding it, essentially. You probably can't see it because it's not that bad. There's like a little bit of a bump and bruise here on the crest of my nose. And my nose is already screwed up. So there's maybe I don't know how high the wave was, maybe 5-6 feet. And it was probably the biggest wave that I had seen up to that point. Took the wave head on, and pretty much just rode it into the beach. And what happened was I pretty much got slammed face first into the sand by the wave. I thought I had a concussion at the time. Turns out I'm fine. My nose probably doesn't really appreciate the fact that I actually just got destroyed by that wave. I've already had, for those of you that don't know, I've already had septoplasty, which means your nose is like crooked. So like my nose kind of goes like, I don't know if I can really demonstrate this. It kind of comes like this way, and then it kind of like curves out this way, and then goes back this way. That's how my nose kind of goes. And I've had surgery to correct it. Didn't really work the first time, and I'd rather not have to do it again because it was pretty painful. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Although I did get destroyed by those waves. Of course, we drank a shit ton. You have a bunch of 20 somethings just chilling. You're going to be drinking a lot. We played a lot of drinking games. Went out to a couple of bars. That was pretty fun. Just casual stuff. Nobody, doing anything too crazy. And that's it. I mean, Charlie, that's something I'll message you in private. Only for you, baby. But other than that, it's really, vacation was fine. There was not too much crazy stuff that was happening. Obviously, the biggest thing was that moonduck happened right at the beginning of my vacation. So one of those days, I couldn't go to the beach. I couldn't hang out with my friends because we had to work on announcing everything. And I think a lot of people didn't really know. I kind of tried to hype it up the days prior to us releasing the information because I really was that excited. This thing kind of got started for me back at TI5 and maybe even a little bit before that. I'd heard rumblings of things of that nature, and I said, screw it, why not? And luckily enough, every single person in this group is amazing. They're all my friends. I know some better than others. I will say that much. Me and Owen haven't had a real chance to talk yet, and I think that's partially my fault. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I love the guy. He's awesome, but haven't gotten the chance to really hang out. But everybody else I know like the back of my hand. And it's really great to work with them, and I'm really excited. So really what happened was on that day, we kind of rushed in. We said, okay, we have to get X, Y, and Z done. And I felt like I wasn't contributing as much, but there was not much I can do other than make sure everything was set up on my end. Getting the pictures for the team page, getting my bio done. Right now, it's more for me behind the scenes, working and trying to get contracts going. But I won't go too in depth with that. So, there's certain smaller tournaments that we were talking to with things of that nature. So that's just pretty much it for me currently. And I am thinking about things to do. The one problem I really have right now with where the Dota scene is at is that there's nobody playing in-houses at all. And I would love to do, and I talked about this to some people at TI, I really wanted to do like a literally like almost every day, like a 365, day cast, at least cast one game a day. The problem with that is that you can only do so many replay casts, and you can only do so much of your own replay reviewing before it becomes kind of, mind-numbing. So in-house leagues would be the best option for me because they go through a certain stage where it's like, okay, they play for like 2 weeks and then they stop, or they play for a month and they stop, or whatever. But that's because, that's just because that's how, Dota works. You have certain games or certain tournaments rather coming up, and you want to, have to prepare for those. You want to scrim. You don't want to show any strats or anything like that. And also, you just kind of get burnt out with in-house leagues. So, so there's not much for me to do there. I still want to do a lot more content on my own personal stream because I know that a lot of you guys like coming here, whether I'm streaming, whether I'm doing vlogs, whether I'm doing casts. I think a lot of you really like the in-house league casts, but I just can't really do that right now because there's no in-house leagues to cast. If you have any thoughts on that, if you have any ideas you want to throw my way, please do not hesitate to do so. Probably through Twitch messaging will be the easiest way to do that, because I'm trying to think of things that I can do, because moonduck is one thing. It's one part of my casting career, and then me doing this is another part. I kind of want to try to grow this brand instead of having to just deal with me getting casting contracts and just trying to hope that moonduck is able to provide enough for me and I'm able to do enough for them. So this obviously is a big thing for me, just trying to stream and to I think do a lot more in the scene. So it's been a really weird week. It's been very strange on many fronts. I won't go too much into depth with that. Strange in a good way, I should say. So the whole moonduck thing, I think, is absolutely just fantastic. Just when you like you see the Twitter account, when you see the Facebook page, when you see the Reddit flare, and you know that it's all real, and you have this thing that you're a part of, and it's like a big thing. It's a huge thing, and it's going to take it's going to take a big chunk of the commentary scene in Dota, and it's gonna take a big chunk of the tournaments in Dota and take it by storm. So I'm very excited for that. We're still getting a lot of the logistical things worked out because we really just started, but it's very exciting. The hippo riding the earth is actually it's the best thing I've ever seen. I won't go too much into the naming or how we came up with the logo and stuff like that, because in all honesty, it was kind of, they told me about it, I thought it was cool, and we went from there. So very exciting stuff. All right, so let's see. I'm just trying to usually when I do a vlog, I can kind of free flow through it and just kind of talk about whatever comes to the top of my mind. But there's just so much stuff with Moonduck, and I'm not sure how much I actually want to divulge and talk about. Let me look real quick. I think the biggest thing for Moonduck is how invaluable Pimp Muckle is to the organization, because without him, the business model, and this is what Andrew was mentioning earlier, the business model wouldn't be, we wouldn't be able to rely on not having physical studios. Pimp Muckle makes it so we don't have to relocate to go somewhere to, do a tournament. If a tournament wants us to do that, we certainly can, but Pimp has the technology, if you will, to be able to make it so we're all, in separate locations, but he's providing top-tier production value because that's just what he does, and he seems to have a knack for it. And everyone's an invaluable part of this group, but Pimp is really just, every time I've worked with him and talked with him, he always is just, he's got the next step in production value. It was almost kind of like what BTS was doing when they were doing the fight recap and the courier sniping pop-ups coming through, and then Valve kind of taking that and running away with it. But instead of Valve taking it, Pimp's doing all of this production on his own. Maybe they notice it, maybe they don't, but he clearly is doing a great job. And there are very few organizations, there's very few tournaments that will do instant replay. And there was only one that I can think about off the top of my head before Pimp. And I think it probably was one of the Dream Hacks or Dream Leagues that the Good Studio ran back when Bruno was there. So it's clearly, and this is one person. This is not a studio doing this. This is all Pimp, by the way. This is just him doing his thing and being nuts at it. It's actually insane how good he is at it, at what he does. And he, and Andrew was saying this earlier, he's a problem solver. He will find a way to get something done with whatever means necessary. So that's something that is invaluable, and also it really helps that he's a really good friend of mine. So big shout outs to Pimp and what he can do for us. So I know a lot of I talked about this during the AMA, so I'm gonna get a couple of questions about this and about High Ground TV. So essentially what was happening was Dakota had left way early last year, December 2014, I think, is when he moved over to BTS. And at that point, we knew, okay, he's pretty much going to be gone from here for the foreseeable future, if not forever. We were going to have to do something on our own, which would be our own being Greg and I. We had a pretty dedicated team in terms of volunteers. And we had a really good, Dota Pit season, really good Dota 2 Canada Cup season. But it became more and more clear to me that Greg was not able to spend as much time on High Ground as maybe I was able to, or someone else for that matter. And so when it came down to two people, and then Greg went to Vulcan, and then he was working with Archon, I felt as though, number one, I was out of the loop. And number two, I was not able to do what he was doing and then casting at the same time with High Ground TV. So with that being said, Shannon approached me, and I decided this is what I want to do. And it happened to coincide at a pretty bad time for Greg, and that is something that I do feel bad about. But Greg is so amazingly insane at what he does, both in esports and out of esports, that there's absolutely no way he's not going to land on his feet. That guy is so talented in everything that he does. So, and I'm not even saying that High Ground is officially dead yet. There's that decision is up to Greg in all reality, and if he wants me to work with High Ground in some sort of capacity, like Dakota has with me doing Dota 2 Canada Cup and then Dakota joining along occasionally, then that's if that's what they want to do, if that's what he wants to do with Greg, or if that's what Greg wants to do, then I'm completely fine with it. So High Ground definitely was, I think, a learning experience for me. You start your own organization and you think, okay, well, I can do the X, Y, or Z, with this organization, but it really depends on the amount of effort you're putting into it. So, and I think with High Ground, I thought it was going to be a lot easier, but it was definitely a learning experience for sure. It was 100% a learning experience, and I don't think it was a failure by any stretch of the imagination. I think it actually went extraordinarily well considering what we had to work with, considering the limitations that were placed upon us. So that's something that High Ground is definitely still. I mean, me, Dakota, and Greg just chilling at TI 4 is some of the best memories that I have of the Dota scene. Like just us hanging out and still being High Ground TV at that point. But it felt as though nobody was really giving 100% effort into that organization. And I think that's pretty much all of our faults. I mean, I think that's a combination of everybody's fault. So that's pretty much all I'll say about High Ground, other than the time I spent there was amazing. I don't want to make it sound like a funeral because I'm still going to see these people. I'm still going to work with these people in the scene, I hope. I'm still going to, be able to talk to them on a daily basis. And if they want to talk to me, they're more than welcome to. Why did he get timed out? All right, Charlie, you're mad with power. Anyways, so moving on, moonduck is essentially, I wouldn't even really call it, I would call it a studio, but it's much more organized around helping everybody out that really needs the help, and less about okay, this is the plan. Here's who's running the show. Here's what we're gonna do. You guys will get paid, but it comes down to this is the main focus of the studio. That's not really how it's ran. I think Moonduck is ran much more open-mindedly, and whatever opinions people have about things that we should do, maybe tournaments that we should do, content that we should provide, that thought process and feedback is taken very seriously. So I think it's a very exciting time because there's not many other organizations like this. Casting studios are always kind of, I feel like casting studios are almost, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't even think of the word. They're kind of forced into this rigid role of providing content at a professional level. And not that I'm saying professionalism is bad. In fact, professionalism when you're casting big tournaments is very important. But if there's other instances where you want to be maybe a little bit clowny, a little bit fun, this studio is probably the place for it. And we do have a lot of crazy, kooky people, myself included. In fact, I think I'm on I'm on the more professional end of the spectrum, and I think that's bad. I'd rather be sillier. I'd rather have a bit more fun when I cast. And that's something that I do need to work on. So Moonduck hopefully will help me with that. The crazy thing is that I never really had this access to analysts like Sind and Purge and even Draskell now, which is crazy. And that's like, I've worked with Purge before. I've casted with Andy once. I've never cast with Sind, even though we spent a lot of time with each other at so many events. So I feel comfortable with all of those people. And it would be so fun to cast with him. And it also doesn't mean that my relationship with Tralf as a co-caster is going to end. Tralf is already raring to go for whatever tournaments we have coming up, and I'm not really going to talk too much more about that. But Tralf is still a big part of at least Maut Dota and his casting. I am speaking in the third person. You can all deal with it. Whatever. Who cares? So, with that being said, there's still a lot of things that are up in the air. But if there's at least one thing you'll see me doing, it is streaming in the near future. I can't give you 100% confirmation on things that I'm working on other than that. But at the very least, you will see me casting a few games, and you'll see me streaming a bit more. And I'll try to stream as much as I possibly can. I have got to kind of get back into the swing of things. I need to definitely, I think, I have to adjust my sleep schedule, and I think I just need to deal with a lot of chores and stuff like that before I can really start digging deep and getting... I kind of just have to take care of myself, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Well, I mean, Purge's voice is like... That's the bassiest voice I've ever heard in my life. Am I able to cast FPL? Yeah, I'm eligible to cast FPL. The problem is I don't know if there are any people playing. Someone was saying that I think FPL is starting up again soon. I'm not sure if that's the case or not. And if it is the case, then I will be casting a lot of it. So, because right now I'm kind of itching. We have this period where there are no tournaments because obviously there's a ton of roster changes. Tournaments are getting ready to go. Majors are coming up. So there's not a lot of opportunities to cast games. So FPL would be one of those things I would like to do. So that's definitely something I'm going to check out and make sure because like I said this in the AMA as well, I do pride myself on at least a little bit of my North American knowledge, but I feel like that knowledge has slipped over the past couple of weeks just because I haven't been paying attention. I haven't really been asking people. I don't want to bug people about, their new squads and things of that nature. I'd rather just let them be. I guess that's kind of a bitch cop-out answer, but that's just kind of how it goes. But you will for sure see me doing at least a little FPL if it is coming by. And that's something that I want to keep in mind. I also want to point out that I am being marketed as a commentator and an observer. So if you enjoy my camera control, I think it's okay. I don't think it's pimp level, but I think it's okay. Then maybe you'll see a bit more of that at another tournament. I know Red Bull liked the camera control I had when I worked with them. So we'll see if they want to bring me back for another event that they're doing. It's very early in the year, so it kind of comes down to, just essentially waiting. At this point, it's really all about waiting and making sure you take care of things, pretty much just of things that you should have taken care of. So that's a very vague answer. I'm a terrible caster. Holy crap. Oh, that's so bad. Grant, shoutouts to his sick ass casting. Although, like I said, I was not able to catch it for the ESL NY American Prairie qualifiers, I believe. I was in the car for a good 8 hours today. I think it was right around 8 hours. So, I actually wish I could have watched that so badly. That's like, there's not enough NA Dota happening. What else? I guess if you guys have any questions about pretty much anything, moonduck, my vacation, what else is going on in my life. If you have any questions, I'm willing to answer them now. But I don't know if I have much to say. I feel like I should have more to talk about, given this whole moonduck thing. But there's a lot of stuff that I can't really talk about, or I'm not sure if I can talk about. Will I be at ESL New York? There is a good chance I'll be there. There is a very good chance I'll be there. It is not 100% confirmed that I will be there. I'm talking to Hopid, and I'm asking if he can grab me some tickets to the event, because I don't really want to have to pay for the tickets. I'd rather just be able to drive down there, maybe crash on somebody's couch and go from there. But I would like to go, and if push comes to shove, I will buy tickets. But that's pretty much I should be there. Talk about TI5. Okay. TI5 was a great experience. The one thing that I do regret about TI5 was not getting to hang out with everyone, and kind of prioritizing something that probably wasn't going to happen in the first place, and then kind of ditching everybody else because of that. I've made a lot of great friends when I was there, which was fantastic, but it was actually more stressful than it should have been. I should have just been there on vacation, but really, dealing with everything that was going on at the time, I think was a little bit stressful for me. And I thought it was definitely fun for sure. I watched a lot of the games. I was there every day, usually at the start of the first series. And that's not something that I did last year at TI4, and I think that was a really stupid move on my part. I think not watching the games at the TI4 main event was a real big problem for me, because even though some of the games were really bad at TI4, there were still some really good games at the main event. I'm so glad that I got to watch the TI5 main event in its entirety, and pretty much in every situation that something big happened, I was there to watch it. So that was great. And I got to pretty much, Bruno came through and he gave me a VIP pass, and I was able to hang out in the caster booth with, people, pretty much everybody, BTS guys, Join Dodo guys, and anybody that might be associated with the casters at TI5. So that was a lot of fun. I didn't get to hang out with them outside of the event, whether that's because, I'm staying in another hotel, they're staying at the Westin, then that's the thing. But I also did hang out with a ton of great people, some NA Dota people, like Phil and Anacletus or Forrest. They were super chill, and I had a lot of fun hanging out with them. And we drank a lot too, and that was great. We had some really good nights, to be honest. And I thought that was a lot of fun, so that was really chill. So like I said, new friends, or old friends that I got to see again at the very least. What else? So that's TI5. Thanks, Forrest. Oh, hey, bud. I didn't see you there. I was just talking about you, rather. Let's see. What else do we got going on? Any other questions? Will everyone that's a part of Moonduck be living in the same house? As far as I know, we've talked about this a little bit. No. We will have some sort of physical studio, and that'll be probably somewhere close to Shannon or Sunspan. And we will bring people in for certain events, but we won't be. I don't think we'll have anyone like living there full time. I'm pretty sure, unless there's a long running event and we need to have production, for a good couple of months, then no, I don't think we'll have any sort of. Like physical studio, but that could change though. That very well could change. I think the thing is, a lot of people don't really want to move from where they're located. I'm one of those. I'm an exception to that rule, I suppose. But a lot of people don't really want to relocate to either the U.S. or somewhere else in the U.S. They're pretty happy with where they are. But for me, if I had my choice, I would like to be working in a studio somewhere, just wherever the studio may be. But that's up to everybody else in Moonduck, and we'll have to sort that out eventually. What's up, Pyro? I'll be done soon. Which new NA team are you excited to see? Hold on a second, because it's kind of tough for me to keep track of all the teams. I've just learned about a lot of them because some of them have been announced when I was on vacation. I always really enjoyed the Leviathan guys, and I got to spend time with them at Game Clucks in Seattle when we were there for TI5. So Imagine, of course, is going to be great. I like Dark Horse because I'm excited to see what Ritsu can do. He's been around for a while, so that's going to be kind of cool. And obviously Brax 1437 and MSS, they're people I know. And Arif especially, I spent a lot of time with at TI4, or rather TI5, so very excited for that. Good to see Sun be coming back to play for an NA team. No Brood Mama, I'm not too sure about that team. So I don't know how I feel about it. But and then there was the, I think Grant might have leaked something on stream about someone's new team. Also, the new whatever Bulba's new team. I'm very excited for that team. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Yeah, there are some other changes as well, but I'm not gonna go too in depth into it. But yeah, Mason's team, the one that one looks really exciting. I'm glad Mason is back in competitive Dota, and I think there's actually like that team is actually sick. I just hope they do well, because I know Fogged has always been like he's put so much into this game, and it feels like he's so close a lot of the time, but this team definitely has the potential. Demon's actually an insane player. A lot of people give him flack for like what he used to do and like throwing and stuff like that when he used to be on EG. But that's like if you watch him stream, if you watch him play the game, especially like when he streams and sometimes will like be playing in a in-house league, and the way he like leads a team, the way he supports, it's pretty insane. And he's still offlanes as well. I was watching a game that he was playing last night where he was offlane Earthshaker, and I mean he makes some insane plays. So Demon's always fun to watch. Clairvoyance, I'm glad to see back on the team. I'm not sure what he's been up to though. Chad's a real good dude, and I'm a big fan of his support play as well. I spent some time with him. I got pretty hammered, and he was taking care of me one night at TI5, so that was nice of him. All right, what else do we got going on here? So I'm pretty much all of the NA teams I'm excited about. There's a couple where I'm kind of like iffy, but I think for the most part, all of them are really, really cool. So, any other questions? What do we got going on here? Can we get moonduck flares on Reddit as well? I don't think so. Sorry, bud. It is a very cool flare, though. I will say that much. Are you going to cast any FPL in your free time? Absolutely, Brian Brown, 100%. That's going to be something I'm going to be doing. Hold on a second. All right. Any other questions before I turn this thing off? I don't really have much to talk about. I got to set my Snapchat game up, guys. Can you tell me how? That was the big problem, I think, for me this entire week. So I have to get a new phone. My old phone's dying, and so I couldn't snap anything of the beach, of me hanging out with my friends, of us drinking, or anything like that. So I thought that was a real big problem. Rick and Morty in 5 minutes. Ooh, that's actually completely true. I'll catch the rerun of it whenever that plays. Dick pics. Yeah, I don't think so. Best food from vacation. We had some pasta one of the nights, and that was really good. We have one of my best friends is a full 100% Italian, and obviously he knows how to cook. And so, you know, him and another friend, they were setting everything else up, and they pretty much cooked, really good pasta meatballs for us, and it's pretty delicious. So that was really good. But I mean, we pretty much could have ate anything at that point, bunch of 20-year-old dudes drinking beer. Yeah, we'll pretty much just take whatever. So that's just something to keep in mind. Any other questions? I'm definitely going to do more of these vlogs as we move forward, but I'm glad you guys all showed up. I didn't think I was going to, I just thought this was going to be a, short, quick thing, and I'd only get like 20 viewers or something, but expect to see, again, like I was saying, more FPL casts, more, I'm going to try to watch as much American Dota as possible, whether that's through streams, whether that's through FPL, whether that's through like watching replays or watching like live games on Dota TV. I want to watch some of the bigger up-and-coming players because I think that I want to just get an idea of how they play, what they play. I want to see the new teams if possible. A lot of the problem is that they're only like a lot of these teams are I think scrimming a lot now, so, and I don't really have that insider access, I don't think, to a lot of the teams. So, well, Grant, I mean, it wouldn't be you if that didn't happen. Typical Grant, to be honest. Yeah, you're savage. All right. One last question. One person, NFL predictions, and then the last question. All I know is that the Bills are at the very least going to make the wild card. So that's that. And if we don't, I have no idea how that. I mean, sure, our quarterback situation is not great, but Bills are probably going to make the wild card. Any other questions? Comanzel. I really want the Browns to do well. They're kind of like our brothers in arms of maligned NFL teams. Fred Jackson, a legit number 4 fantasy back? Yes, I think so. I don't know. This year's going to be hard, though, because he is pretty old, and we have such a strong running back core for the Bills. So I would say, tentatively, maybe don't do that. Maybe don't do Fred Jackson. You could just pick him up off of the free agent wire, and he'll be fine. You don't have to draft him or anything. That's what I would say. Tyrod Taylor's fast. He's a good guy. All right. Dolphins win the division. Ryan Tannehill's pretty good. They got some good players. All right, enough about that. It is 11:29. If you're interested, I will probably be staying around, maybe playing some Counter-Strike on stream, and I might be back even later to play more Dota, something like that. But I know for a lot of you, you are Rick and Morty fans, and so Rick and Morty is actually coming up pretty soon here. So I'm going to stop the stream. I'm actually going to keep the stream going. I'm just going to stop doing this vlog. I will stop the stream momentarily and then restart it so that it makes it easier for my highlight. And if you didn't catch all of the vlog, it should be up by tomorrow on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/user/MautDota2, I think. What is my rank at CSGO? You're about to find out.